Look at me. There is only one thing you ever need to manifest, and there is only one way to manifest it. I promise you. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the only one thing you ever need to manifest. And then in the second part of the video, we're going to talk about the only one way that you can manifest it. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Cermak. I'm a psychotherapist turned coach here to talk about bringing the vertical into this world, helping sensitive people find their center. And as a sensitive person, I promise you, there's only one thing you need to manifest, and there's only one way to do it. We're going to talk about that today. So I really do get my pillows and blankets looking nice before my videos, and Prudence has another idea on how that should be. She likes to have things situated her way. So we just let her do that, right? So that Prudence is in the video as well today. Since my channel is all about inner peace, you guessed it, the only thing you ever need to manifest is inner peace. And I'm going to tell you a story recently, where I manifested my inner peace and how things worked out for me, things in the external world. We hold everything in this external world very lightly, right? Because we focus on inwardly, we focus on inner peace. I actually came up with a little formula that I'm going to be sharing with you about inner peace and how it leads to these outer manifestations, but we want to hold them lightly. Okay. But let's first answer the question, why inner peace? Like, why does inner peace do us any good? Well, inner peace gives us freedom. When we're peaceful on the inside, we're free from other people's judgments. We're free from our own judgments, right? So inner peace gives us freedom to be who we are, because as sensitive people, we are sent here to this earth to be who we are, to remember who we are, not to become something, but to remember, to hold our space, to remember who we are. So I had a recent experience where I chose inner peace, inner peace is a manifestation. I almost feel like it's like physical, like you can feel it in your body. And I feel like if you have this much inner peace, if you can find it, this might sound really weird, but if you can find it within your body, it will be stronger than any fear that you have. Like if you could just locate it. I feel like sometimes my inner peace is really big and like it's throughout my whole body, and sometimes I can't find it. Sometimes like if I'm in fear, it's like, where is it? Okay. So I don't know. Sometimes that just helps me to think of it that way. Recently, my husband and I went and saw Ringo Starr at the Chicago Theater, and we hadn't been to a concert in a while, and we were both like kind of like freaking out. Like, I don't know, like we have to go. We're taking the train into the city, and like we're like, are we too old for this? And just, kind of like having doubts about wanting to go, it's crazy because once we get there, we're like, what were we ever fearing or doubting? Because it was so much fun. We had second row center at Ringo Starr. I mean, Ringo Starr was literally like 20 feet from us. And my husband had a dream come true this night. And so thank God we chose peace and we went. Because if I wouldn't have even had any inner peace within me, I don't even know if I could have gone. If I could have I used to not be able to go to concerts. I mean, I used to go when I was younger, like in my 20s and college and beyond, but I would freeze. I would be really nervous and freeze and not really have any fun. I would like almost, I guess, freeze. Yeah. Like fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I would freeze. So yes, my husband and I both manifested this dream that my husband had that night by holding the peace, it all comes from within. My husband and I, we like to soak in the concert. Like we like to get everything out of it. And for me, part of that is like getting dressed up and wearing something cute or whatever. And I think as I've gotten older, I'm 48 years old right now. I'm like, is this ridiculous? Should I not be doing this? I get a lot of other people's thoughts in my head about what somebody my age should be wearing, or my own judgments or thoughts about this, right? So I chose that night. I remember thinking, this was last Wednesday. I remember thinking like, I have this friend who's in her 70s who loves shopping and fashion. So we like to go shopping every once in a while. And she's always like, it's all about it's all, you wear the outfit. The outfit doesn't wear you. I don't know if she's ever even said that, but I get this idea from her. Like it's all about your attitude in the outfit. So I was like, I'm going to wear this outfit. This outfit's not going to wear me. I wore this outfit. I'll share a screen. So I wore these like fishnet pantyhose with stars on them to go see Ringo Starr, these cowboy boots with stars on them, the short dress. And, there was a voice in my head that's like, somebody your age should not be wearing this. But I am telling you, I chose peace. And when I choose peace, it makes me more brave to just go out in the world and be myself, to wear what I want, right? To do what I want, to love what I want, to live the life that I want. It helps me get in my life. I feel like social media has helped me to do this, like get in my own life, because as a sensitive empath person, we tend to get overtaken by other people's lives, right? I feel like that has happened to me. I get overtaken. It still happens to me. I get overtaken by other people's energy. It kind of happened to me in the concert. And I remember practicing, like I had somebody next to me who was really crowding my space. And I remember thinking like, okay, all these Course in Miracles lessons, this is real life for me to practice. So I had to practice holding my space with love, So anyway, so I wore the outfit. I chose peace and I wore the outfit. And I'm telling you, it made the experience of the night so much fun. It was so like, and it's not about the attention or anything like that, but it was just like well received. It was a happy, joyful thing. We would go once we took the train into the city, and once we got there was this woman. I went to Sbarro Pizza because I was starving to get a pizza. And this woman was like, I cannot ignore what is going on here. And as we were walking back from the concert, this guy was like, oh, I love those boots. I mean, there were so many people who commented on my outfit, people who weren't even going to Ringo. And it just made it was like everybody was so kind. I didn't feel, nobody was judging me. It was almost like I felt rewarded for being brave and wearing that, because it was just like, it was well received, right? So, and if it hadn't have been, but I have to hold all of that lightly. I hold what happens in the external world lightly, because if it wouldn't have been well received, that would have been okay too. It all comes from within. I wear the outfit doesn't wear me, right? So I'm choosing peace no matter what. And that was the outward kind of manifestation of that. So that was the outfit, the choosing inner peace. And that's a big thing that I've always said. It's helped me to like wear what I want and not conform to like what everybody else thinks, somebody my age, or, even when I was younger, what people think that what somebody should be wearing as a therapist or whatever, all these ideas. So I'm going to tell you about my husband's dream that came true that night. But first of all, let me tell you, this was very transformational too. This was a time to choose peace. So we were on the metro train going into the city. And I used to help when my husband and I first got married. He was very afraid of flying. And so I helped him. Like we worked together to get over this fear. Now he is not afraid of flying at all. He is still afraid. He has fear of bridges. And so this night that we got to the concert, I mean, the fear of bridges has been much, much, much more strong than the fear of flying. It has really held on, and it's been really hard for him to handle. It affects us when we travel, but we handle it. And when we got off the train, he had to go over a bridge. We had to walk over a bridge. Usually we've taken an Uber over this bridge before, but he looked at it in daylight and he's like, this isn't so bad. And we walked over it. He chose peace. And that was a huge thing. So this was like a transformational night. And I feel like outer manifestations came from that. The other thing that happened was when we were on the train. So like I said, I've been helping my husband a lot getting over these fears of flying and the fear of the bridge. But what has happened to me, which is so interesting, I never had a fear of flying. I've never like had these, my anxiety was more like generalized anxiety or social anxiety. I never had a fear of like bridges. Like that never even crossed my mind. But when we were on the train, I was like, isn't it weird how the train is like very rackety? Like it doesn't seem like it doesn't feel like the train is safe. It's very like rackety and very like, I don't know. I'm like, what are we doing on this? It's almost like when you're on a carnival ride and you're like, why am I on this Ferris wheel? Like this could smash before my face, it feels like. And I started thinking that way. And I found this like feeling of panic. I feel like I helped my husband get over these fears and they got in me a little bit. So I can feel it's like a floating fear that got in me. I could feel myself almost starting to panic, like looking at the people around me, just like being like, I want to be home. Like, what am I doing? Feeling fearful, feeling like I could like I'm going to die or something. Like the train isn't safe, like feeling unsafe. I guess that's the word. And I felt myself going into this. I felt myself going into the panic, and I found this place of peace within me. I found this place of peace within me. I thought about everything that I'm studying, everything that I'm teaching, and like it was like this little bit of peace, and I focused on it, and I decided circumstances don't matter. My peace is within, my safety is within, my safety is not without. And I focus on that. And it's not that it went away, but I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't focused on it. And I feel like the outer manifestations, and there was this quality with like picking out the outfit, going on the train, my husband going over the bridge. There was this quality that we had of not trying to overly control everything. I didn't overly plan my outfit. I didn't even try it on. Like in the past, maybe I might have like overly planned it or tried it on or like put on too much stuff, you know? I didn't over plan anything. There was this like flow to it all, not outward control. There was no way we were trying to control our outward circumstances. The concert was amazing. Like we were second row center. Ringo was like right in front of our face. And my husband, so Ringo tells this story. So here, I'll tell you about my husband's dream that came true. Ringo tells this story during his concerts about how when he was young and, you know, the Beatles came to America and they would hear Ringo, Ringo, and it would be all these like girls screaming, I love you, Ringo, I love you, Ringo. And he says now it tends to be like grown men. It's like, I love you, Ringo, and these deep voices. And my husband has this really deep, loud voice, right? And so he's like, I want to be the one who yells, I love you, Ringo. And then Ringo tells that story. So you have to have like good timing to yell this out and have Ringo tell the story. So my husband did it. He yelled out, I love you, Ringo. And Ringo said, I love you too. It's like the I love you man story from us going to see Paul McCartney. And then Ringo told the story. So my husband feels like he was part of that concert, like helping Ringo tell the story. I mean, it was just, he said he has been telling me this for years that he wants to be that guy who yells, I love you, Ringo. And Ringo says, I love you too. And then he goes and tells the story. If you go to multiple concerts, like for the same people, you notice they tend to tell the same story. So that's one of the stories that he tells. And so my husband kind of, triggered that story out of Ringo Starr. It was really cool. So it was a really fun night. It was magical in a way that I couldn't have planned. Like I said, I focus on my inner state. I focus on inner peace above all. And then everything else in the outward world I felt like it came to us. It came to us. So how do we manifest inner peace though? Like what is I promised you that in the second part of this video that I was going to talk about the only way to do it. There is only one way to do it. There really is. And the only way to do it is to make it the most important thing. You make it the only thing, the number one important thing, that nothing else matters, that your internal state, your inner peace, that's what matters. My niece and I went and saw Carolyn Mace yesterday. She talked about the health of the soul. And she was like, you have to treat yourself as if you have a soul, as if it is the most precious thing. And she also talked about how we are in the center of our soul, that we don't have a soul, the soul has us. I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, so we treat ourselves like inner peace is the most important thing. Our inner state is the most important thing. That is because if we attach our peace to the things of this world, you're not going to feel peaceful because I have done this, trying to control everything I'm wearing, how I'm looking at every minute, it's such a miserable thing. So not attaching your peace. Okay. So the only way to do it is to not attach it to the things of this world, human beings, events, anything. We don't attach it to the things of this world. We keep it within ourselves and we make it the number one thing. And this is A Course in Miracles. It's the only thing. It's your only goal. That is the goal. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about the Course in Miracles lesson, I Want the Peace of God, and how that lesson is exactly this whole video is exemplified in that lesson. So we could say that's a continuation, the next video of what I'm talking about. I want the peace of God. So we're going to talk about that in our next video. It's kind of like I talk about this a lot with AA. They make sobriety your most important thing. That comes first, right? And everything else comes from that. So this is like choosing inner peace. It's the most important thing. And everything else comes from that. The peace of God. The peace of God. That is what you want. Okay, so let's end with some deep breaths, a little like meditation. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to end with a little meditation. Claiming who we are. Breathe in, breathe out. Get grounded in yourself. Put your hand on your heart, both hands on your heart. As we declare, I do not need circumstances to change. I do not need circumstances to change. I do not need anybody to change. I do not need anybody to change. I don't need anyone to be a certain way. And I don't need anything to be a certain way. I am here to be who I am. I am here to connect with that which is me. I do not need outer safety. I have inner safety. My safety is within. Okay, so I hope this was helpful today. Stay tuned for the next video about I want the peace of God. I will talk to you soon. Go ahead and subscribe below if you want more videos like this. Peace and love. Talk to you soon.